Namaste. My name is Lori. For those I haven't met before or had in class, Lori White. And today we'll have a hopefully well-balanced Hatha class. And so if you're coming in today, wherever you are, mentally, physically, and emotionally, hopefully by the end of class you'll feel a little more balanced and ready to face your day and weekend. So with that, I'll go ahead and invite you to find a comfortable seat, whatever that may be. Please know that when I say a comfortable seat, that could literally mean lying down or standing, maybe with your back against the wall, seated, maybe in a chair. So whatever that is for you. I strongly encourage each of you to take agency of your practice. So by that, working within your range of motion, and if something doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. Perfectly fine. You're welcome to skip anything, modify anything so that it feels comfortable for you. I strongly encourage ahimsa. Ahimsa is one of our niyamas in our eightfold path. And asana, which is the practice that this physical practice that we're doing here today, is number 3 on that path. Yama and niyama are the first two. And so really, what does that mean, right? It means non-harming, non-violence. So on our mat, that could be not bringing ourselves physical pain in a pose, as well as letting go of any judgment of how you think you should look or what you think you should feel. So just allowing yourself to be present. So with that, I'll now invite you to either close down the eyes or set the gaze at one object. Just allow ourselves to begin to drop internally. So just becoming an observer of the body and mind. Taking a moment here, taking a deep breath in and exhale it out. Allowing the body to be a little heavy in all those areas where you're making contact with the surface beneath you. Just noticing that support and giving yourself permission to be supported. Reaching up through the crown of the head, shoulders back and down, and then beginning to scan the body from the crown of the head all the way down to the toes. Just check in, making any mental notes of areas that you might want to pay a little bit more attention to today. Extending our awareness out into our surroundings and tuning into the sounds occurring first outside of our space, so maybe distant traffic, dogs barking, and then the sounds inside our space. And then settling the internal gaze upon the breath. So noticing your inhalation as well as the exhalation. Maybe even the pauses between the two. And not altering it at this time. So we're just becoming aware of, are we breathing through the nose or through the mouth? Are we drawing the breath down into the lower lobes of the lungs, or maybe high up in the chest? The upper lobes. Or maybe you notice the physical or the air as it passes through the nasal passages. And together, we'll all inhale through the nose, drawing the breath deep down into the lower lobes of the lungs, allowing the stomach to expand, and then the chest. And as we exhale, envision exhaling from the chest and then the stomach as you draw the navel in towards the spine. And continuing this breath. See if you can soften the shoulders, relax any tension you may be holding in the hips and glutes. This is oftentimes called a yogic breath or three-part breath. As we stimulate the diaphragm and allow the stomach or diaphragm to expand, expanding the chest, abdomen, softening, allowing everything to begin to deflate. And you're welcome to keep the eyes closed or open the eyes. And if you're lying down, I'll invite you to either come into a seat or standing. And as we exhale, releasing chin down towards chest, drawing the shoulders back to the wall behind us and letting the head hang heavy. Abdomen's engaged, protecting lumbar spine. Relax the shoulders down the back. Gentle shake of the head, no. And then yes. Pause here. Inhale, right ear over right shoulder. Both shoulders relax down. Deep breath. Continuing to soften the glutes. On your next inhalation, drawing the chin up towards the sky. Pause here. And then exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Both shoulders relax down. Exhaling, chin down towards chest. Letting head hang heavy. It doesn't have to touch the chest or come anywhere near it. On your next inhalation, left ear to left shoulder. Pausing here. Next inhale, chin up towards the sky. Next exhale, right ear over right shoulder. And chin back down toward chest. Slowly inhale, bringing the head up to neutral. Warming up our shoulders. First beginning, bringing the arms out into a T, palms facing down. And beginning to bring the hands up and down pretty quickly. This is actually a Kundalini Kriya, which is, Kundalini is another type of yoga. And I like to use some of their Kriyas here in the beginning just to help warm up the body. The repetitive motion can generate heat pretty quickly. So we're just looking to warm up the shoulder area, the arms. Exhale, releasing the arms down. And from here, let's go ahead and we'll make some big circles with the shoulders first. And does everybody have a strap? If not, I can grab one. I'll grab one really quick. So continuing to roll the shoulders back. I'm sorry. We don't have a cooler any longer, but we do have an extra faucet, and I think there should be some cups. gently pause. Taking hold of our strap, doing a little bit of shoulder flossing. Again, just waking up the shoulders, opening up the pectorals. And I personally just like to be on my knees, but that's just a personal preference. So again, whatever that comfortable seat is for you. Taking hold of our strap, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and you can change this at any time. Or first inhale, arms straight up, and then lift the chest, drawing the shoulders back, pause here. And if you find that this is uncomfortable or painful, bend your elbows a little and bring it down. We don't want to hyperextend the elbows, so there should be a slight bend in them. Deep breath in. As you exhale, right arm will slide down as the left arm reaches over to the right. Maintaining the breath, drawing the breath down into the lower lobes of the lungs, lifting chest. Inhale, arms back to center, and as you exhale, over to the left. So during winter, when we start to feel cold, I don't know if everybody else has noticed, but I definitely am rounding my shoulders and kind of tucking in. So I'm working on trying to open up. And exhale, and we'll come back to center, bringing the arms back just a hair. And again, bending elbows at any time. Lifting chest. And gently release, bringing the arms down, keeping the strap handy, and then shake out the arms. Give them a nice, good shake. Shaking wrist, getting the blood flowing all the way down to the fingertips. Pause, and we'll come back to this later. And from here, I will invite you to go ahead and come up onto all fours into tabletop position. Welcome to use a blanket underneath the knees. Or if your wrists are uncomfortable, you can place the heel of the hand onto the blanket and the fingertips off. And we're just going to tap the top of the feet on the mat. Pause. Pressing through the heels, spreading toes wide. Toes can touch the floor as you press through the heels. And then pointing heels to the right, center, and to the left. And back to center. And then having the feet comfortable, we'll just begin to roll one ankle in one direction and then reverse. And then the opposite. And pausing here. Coming up into standing, meeting in Tadasana, or mountain pose. Welcome to come up to the top of the mat. So feet are comfortable width apart, shoulders back and down. So I practice a very active pose in mountain pose. And it comes down to the foundations of the feet and creating your arches or lifting the inner arches. So with that, energetically envision taking your ankles and then pressing them inward and then turning them forward towards the front of the room. And if you engage the muscles, you may have noticed that all the way up to your quadriceps, the muscles are engaged and the knees are slightly bent. So we'll ground down into the heel and the ball of the foot, reach up through the crown of the head, shoulders back and down. This is a very active pose as you're pressing into the earth, but also reaching up towards the sky. Knees are softened. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bending knees and swan diving down into Uttanasana, or forward fold. So I like to use blocks here. And bending the knees as much as is comfortable for you as we place the flexion into the hips and not into the lower back. So maybe you don't go down as far as you normally would, and that's perfectly fine. Bending knees, pressing the weight back into the heels. Inhale, coming back up to the sun. Reach up, exhale, down to mountain, Tadasana. Take a moment here. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, bending knees as we swan dive down into your forward fold. And maybe this one feels a little different since this will be the second one. Weight is evenly through the feet, bending knees, flexion into the hips. Bending knees deeply, weight back into the heels as we inhale, pressing ourselves back up into Urdhva Hastasana, and then down to mountain, Tadasana. Deep breath in and exhale it away. One more time. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, Uttanasana. And bending knees and making our way back up into Urdhva Hastasana and down to Tadasana. Taking a moment here, maybe closing down the eyes or setting the gaze and tuning into the sensations occurring throughout the body, and just becoming aware of what comes up for you, if anything, emotionally, maybe colors or sounds. And from here, we'll open the eyes. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bending knees, swan diving down into Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway rise. Maybe hands are on blocks or on shins or thighs, but we'll reach the crown of the head in the opposite direction of the tailbone. Exhale, fold. Shifting weight over to the left foot, right leg steps back, right knee down as we come into a low lunge. Maybe using blocks here, maybe hands are on the thigh, maybe they're up. Regardless, we'll all focus on drawing left hip back, right hip forward, pressing into the left foot. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat or to our blocks. Right toes turn under, stepping left foot back to meet right. Coming onto all fours. Spreading fingers wide. Inhale, abdomen sinks down, chest lifts into our cow pose. And as you exhale, rounding spine, tucking chin towards chest, coming into our mad cat. Deep breath here. Inhale to neutral. Stepping left leg back and then right. Exhale, bending knees, pressing hips back and up. Downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, flexion should be, or a nice long spine here. So bending the knees if the hamstrings are tight and giving yourself as much space as is needed here to really press the hips back and up. Bend knees deeply, shifting the hips back to the wall behind you, shifting weight over to the right leg as the left leg, to the left leg as the right leg steps forward, meeting in our lunge. Grounding into the right leg using top of the left foot to stabilize. Right hip back, left hip forward. Deep breath here. Hands come down to the mat, back toes turn under. Maybe a big step forward or several small steps as we meet in Uttanasana. Knees are slightly bent, flexion into the hips. Bending knees deeply, pressing weight back into the heels. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, down to mountain. Taking a moment, tuning into the sensations occurring throughout the body, noticing the energy that we're starting to create. When you're ready, we'll inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, swan diving down into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, fold. Shifting weight over to the right left leg steps back, left knee down. Meeting in your lunge, whatever that is for you today. Deep breath here. Exhale, hands come down. Shifting the right leg back to the left, meeting in our all fours. As you inhale, sinking abdomen down, chest reaches forward, cow pose. And as you exhale, rounding spine, tucking chin towards chest. Inhale, neutral. Stepping right leg back and then left. And pressing it up into our downward facing dog. So bending knees, pressing hips back and up. And for the elbows, envision that you are going to open a jar and inner elbows are going to come inward and kind of out. Bending knees, pressing hips back, and stepping the left leg forward, right knee down, as we meet in our lunge on the opposite side. Exhale, hands come down, back toes turn under, big step forward or multiple small steps, meeting in Uttanasana or forward fold, bending knees, tucking chin towards chest, and reverse, coming back up to sun or Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale down to mountain. Deep breath in and exhale it out. As a transition, we'll inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Shifting weight to left leg, right leg steps back, coming right down into our low lunge again. So wherever you were before, maybe the arms come up, maybe you reach all the way up. Either way, just focusing on drawing left hip back, right hip forward, level out the hips, and gentle tuck of the tailbone, and this is more for those that exacerbate the lumbar spine. So really we're just going to draw the abdomen in, protecting the lumbar spine, grounding down into the earth, and squeeze inner thighs. Deep breath here. So asana translates into the seat of the pose. So ideally we'd like to be able to find comfort in the pose, so we can allow the mind to expand and redirect. We'll exhale, bringing the hands down, stepping right leg or left leg back, and then right leg steps forward. Now if I feel unsteady, I'm going to walk the right leg towards the long edge of the mat, just widen my stance a little, grounding into the right foot, and making my way up into my lunge on the opposite side. Right hip back, left hip forward, pelvic pulse neutral, engaging abdomen, protecting lumbar spine. Deep breath here. Exhale, hands come down. Stepping right leg back, meeting in our all fours. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, pressing it up into our mad cat. So tucking chin towards chest as we round the spine. And we'll add a little bit of neurological unwinding here. So beginning to press into the right hand as we lean over to the right and then over to the left. So just gentle rocking here. And you may want to widen the hands a little. Maybe they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And inhale back into a neutral spine. And pausing Right leg steps forward. Left leg, the heel draws in towards the glute and then kickstands behind us so the toes are facing the wall behind us. Inhale as the left arm reaches up and back. We'll meet into a Virabhadrasana too, so making any adjustments that are comfortable for you. Maybe the right leg goes forward a little. And so we're feel to open up the left hip and drawing the shoulder back. Running the energy up from the ground and out through the fingertips. Deep breath here. Press into the right foot. As you exhale, left arm releases down, torso will turn to the wall in front. Inhale as we draw the right arm up. One more breath here. As you exhale, right forearm comes down to the right thigh. Maybe I stay right here and focus on drawing left shoulder back. Maybe I inhale, bringing the left arm up. Maybe I bring the left hand to the hip. These are all just options. One's not better than another. So just finding that option which is comfortable for you. You're welcome to use your block with the right hand as well. Grounding into the right foot, inhaling slowly, coming back up, and meeting back on all fours. So however that's comfortable for you to get there. We'll transition to the other side. So I'm just going to turn. Inhale, left leg steps forward. Kickstanding right leg behind us. And then bringing right arm up and back, meeting in our Virabhadrasana too. Deep breath here, grounding into the left foot, lifting our inner arch. As you exhale, releasing right arm down, torso turns slightly, left arm rises. Still pressing into the left foot. Inhale slowly back to center. Meeting in Virabhadrasana 2. And then as you exhale, bringing the left forearm either down to the thigh, or maybe the hand comes down onto a block. Right hand can come to the hip, it can rise to the sky. It's whatever feels comfortable for you today. And just know that that does change day to day, and even hours within the day. Slowly grounding into the left foot, inhale, coming up, and again, we'll make our way onto all fours. So however is most comfortable for you to get there. Pausing here, shifting the weight to the left foot, and I can use the top of the left foot to help stabilize. Extending right leg back, toes to the mat as you press through the heel of the foot. Engage the abdomen, protecting lumbar spine and lifting chest. Releasing, and then shifting over to the right, left leg extends behind, level out heads. From here, gently release, stacking the hips directly underneath, or the knees, directly underneath the hips. Walking hands forward as you exhale, bringing chin and chest down toward the mat. They do not have to touch. And taking a couple breaths here, again, we're just opening up the front of the body in a little bit of a different way. Deep breath in and exhale it out. Once again, using your breath. Drawing the breath deep into the lower lobes of the lungs and exhaling it out. Inhaling, beginning to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Deep breath in as you exhale, tucking chin towards chest, meeting in our mad cat. We're not holding the breath, but we are holding the pose. I know this is one that you typically oftentimes remove with the breath. Inhale back into a neutral spine and meeting in Tadasana. Nice strong foundation here. Grounding down into the feet, creating our arches, shoulders come back and down. Shifting the weight to the left leg, right leg steps back. If I feel unsteady, stepping the right leg towards the long edge of the mat. Squeezing glutes, sinking down into the left leg. Chest rises, meeting in our high lunge. So engaging the right leg, left hip comes back, right hip forward, pelvic pulls neutral. Deep breath here. So we're up on the toes of the back. Yes, great job. Squeezing the glutes. From here, exhale, hands come down alongside the body. Palms will face the wall behind us, reaching the chest to the wall in front. As you exhale, hinging forward, abdomen's engaged, protecting lumbar spine, and then release the shoulders down the back. Deep breath here. So we're hovering over the front thigh. Squeeze glutes. One more breath. Slowly inhale, coming up. Arms, maybe they reach up, maybe they're goalpost. As we exhale, bringing hands down to the hips, back heel comes down. At our 45-degree angle, opening up the hip, keeping the left leg as it is, maybe sinking a little bit deeper into the knee. Inhale, arms reach out, Virabhadrasana 2. Very strong and active as you ground down and through the feet, reach up through the crown of the head. Rest into the earth with the feet. Feel how strong and steady you are here. So similar movements. Exhale, right hand comes down, torso turns slightly. Inhale, left arm rises. Gaze might be up to the sky or it might be in front, just depending on what you are feeling today. Grounding into the left foot. Knee is still bent. One more breath. And as we exhale, left forearm comes down to the thigh. Maybe we stay right here. Maybe we focus on drawing the shoulder and head back. Maybe right arm rises. Maybe hand comes down. All just options. Shifting hips forward slightly. So by that, all I mean is it's easy to want to allow the hips to sneak back behind you as we're in this. So we want to encourage them to come forward and the shoulders back. Grounding down into the left foot. Inhale, coming up, meeting in our Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, gentle release, and making our way up into Tadasana. Step it out. Give yourself a good shake. Let it go. And then pausing And again, noticing the energy created in the right side of the body and then the left. And then together we'll meet on our front of our mat in Tadasana, and we'll step the left leg back. Coming up onto the ball of the left foot, meeting in our high lunge, squeezing the glute. If I feel unsteady, heel toe, right foot out towards the long edge of the mat. Feel to draw right hip back, left hip forward, pelvic fold neutral, and coming into our high lunge. Deep breath here, squeezing the glute. Chest reaches for the seam of the ceiling and the wall in front. You might feel comfortable with the arms up higher, so I want to encourage you to find your pose. I tend to use cactus arms a lot because I have little T-Rex arms and I feel like I'm always cutting off my neck. Or you might prefer to have your hands at the hips, and that's perfectly fine as well. From here, we'll exhale, left foot comes down as we open up the left hip, arms come out, facing the floor. Making any adjustments in the front leg. I'm going to heel toe mine in a little. We want to be able to see the first two toes. So encouraging drawing the knee out to the wall behind you. Deep breath here. Pressing into the earth with the feet, lifting inner arches. Squeezing inner thighs or adductors. As you exhale, left hand relaxes down, torso turns slightly forward. Inhale, right arm rises. Still maintaining the bend in the right leg. And again, finding your asana or the seat of your pose. Exhale. Right forearm comes down. Maybe we pause here, drawing hip and shoulder back. Maybe we decide that we want to lift the left arm or bring hand down to a block or towards the floor. And then again, we'll allow the hips to move forward underneath us. And by doing that, sometimes we don't go down as far, and that's okay. Sometimes I'll use the seat of a chair as a prop instead of, because I want something a little higher. As you exhale, releasing top arm, inhaling as we come back up into our Virabhadrasana 2. And then exhaling, making our way back into Tadasana. Again, shaking it out. Having our strap handy, working on standing balancing posture. So if you want to be close to a wall, just as a mental thing sometimes, I encourage you to go ahead and move closer to a wall, or sometimes just having the back of a chair can be handy. And you may not use your strap at all, but I always like to have it if I need it. So first, coming into a Tadasana. So shoulders back and down, reaching up through the crown of the head, creating your arches, so having that nice, strong foundation. Grounding into, a lot of times you hear ground into the four corners of your feet. Well, we don't really have, our foot's not a box, right? But you do get that idea of into the heel, into the ball of the foot, and those outer edges. So softening the knees. From here, shifting weight over to the left leg, we'll come up onto the toes of the right. It's easy to want to kick this right hip out, but we're going to drop it down so it's level with the left. Abdomen's engaged. I might stay right here today, that's okay. Or maybe I bend my standing leg a little bit more and then begin to draw the right knee up. I might be right here. I'm wobbly today. I can take my strap and maybe give myself a little bit of assist. Maybe to help the balance, left arm comes out. These are all just options. Squeezing the glutes, the maximus, medius, and minimus. 3 muscles in our glutes. They're a powerhouse. So they also have to be worked quite a bit. We can either stay here or working within your range of motion, allowing the knee to come out. So if I do that today, personally, if I turn my knee all the way out, my left hip starts to turn. I do not want that to happen because I want to work in my range of motion. So when my left hip starts to turn, you can also just use your hand. I'm going to stop right there. And then again, level out hips, squeeze glutes. Exhale and gently dissolve and shake it out. Maybe your left glute feels a little cranky, maybe it doesn't, and either is fine. And when we're ready, we'll do that on the opposite side. So again, starting with that good foundation. So whatever that is, shoulders are back and down, creating our arches, setting our drishti. So that's something you may have heard before. When you think of that, like in a tree pose or Vrikshasana, I hear it most reminding us of that in that pose, but really all that is setting your gaze. So you're going to find a focal point, something about eye level that's not moving, to really focus and concentrate on. So that is setting our drishti. So finding that focal point for you, shifting the weight over to the right leg as I come up onto the toes of the left. Again, level out the hips. So I don't want to kick the right hip out, engaging abdomen. When I'm ready, if I'm ready, drawing the left foot up. Again though, I want to level out the hips, engage the abdomen, squeeze glutes. Maybe I assist with my strap or my hand. If a foot comes up though, I do want it to be flexed. And that's just because flexing helps to engage the muscles, which helps to protect our joints. Deep breath here. If I feel a little unsteady, I'm going to bend my standing leg, so my right leg a little bit more. So physics, I'm going to shorten the lever. Again, I'm either going to stay here or maybe I begin to open up the hip, external rotation. Deep breath. If I bend my standing leg deeply, I may need to pull the torso back so that the torso is stacked over the ankle. Just helps me feel more stable. I am a science person, so I do talk a lot about physics. I'm not a physics person though. We'll exhale and gently dissolve and step it out. Just kind of shake out any frustrations, because standing balances can be very frustrating. And then, grabbing my block here, working on our Utkatasana, or chair pose, is one of my favorites. So meeting again in our Tadasana. And first, I'm going to take the block and place it between my thighs and squeeze. So these are our adductors, so our inner thighs that I've mentioned before in some of the poses of engaging. And so same thing, it's just the block helps us with that engagement because it's giving us something to squeeze. So from here, arms are going to come forward and they're back into their sockets. So they aren't reaching forward significantly. Abdomen's engaged, protecting lumbar spine. And from here, playing with our weight distribution. So pressing into the ball of the foot, the heel might come up and it might not. It doesn't matter, we're just noticing that that weight has now shifted to the ball of the foot. And then back into the heel. Maybe toes lift, maybe they don't, same thing. And then the ball of the foot, back into the heel. Maybe my knees soften as I kind of move back and forth. And then gently releasing down, shaking out the arms. We'll add to this, so squeezing the thighs, weights back into the heels, soften knees, arms reach forward, pause here. Weight into heels, abdomen's engaged, squeezing block. Exhale, gently release. So this time we'll bend the knees. So from here, bending knees, pressing hips back, weight into heels, abdomen's engaged, still squeezing thighs. Inhale, arms reach forward, chest reaches forward. Engaging lumbar spine, protecting lower back. One more breath here. And grounding into the heels, coming up and shaking it out. One last time. Weight back into the heels. Exhale, sinking hips down, squeezing the legs, so squeezing your block, engaging the lumbar spine, or engaging the abdomen. Arms reach forward, and now envision you have a block between the forearms and you're squeezing those toward one another. So much going on right here. Press into the heels, one more deep breath in. Press into the heels as you inhale, coming up, and gently release. Let it go. Keeping the block between the thighs for one last balancing posture here, diver's pose. So continuing to work with that weight distribution, we were just really focusing on placing the weight into the heels. Now we're going to focus on placing the weight into the ball of the foot as we lift the heels. Some calf raises here. So just coming up. Doesn't matter how high we come up. So whatever that is for you. Just back and forth a few times. And we'll pause, ground into the heel, soften knees. Now we're grounding into the ball of the foot, heels come up, and then reach up through the crown of the head. Arms are alongside the body. Pause here, palms face behind us. Maybe they come back a little bit more. Maybe we hinge forward as we look over the edge of the cliff. A little bit more. Maybe I soften knees. We don't want to hyperextend and lock. Exhale and gently come down. Shake it out. Coming down onto our mat. And grab my blanket here and roll it just once and place it across my mat, or perpendicular. This is just, I have tight hamstrings. So this just allows me to have some space here. So by all means, if you don't have tight hamstrings, you're welcome to have the legs extended. Arms come alongside the body and pressing first the hand into the mat. Shoulders come back, and again, more of that weight distribution. So you'll notice as you press into the mat, my hips may not come up, but I'm distributing more weight into my hands and less into the seat. Shoulders come back, reach up through the crown of the head, engaging and flexing the feet, even though I'm using my blanket here. This is stack pose or Dandasana. Deep breath in, exhale, and gently release. We'll inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hinging forward, coming into a seated fold. Deep breath in and exhale it out as you draw the navel in towards the spine and let the head hang heavy here. You're welcome to draw the heels in towards the person or towards the torso as much as is comfortable for you for those tight hamstrings or SI joint issues. Arms reach forward. As you inhale, coming up, reaching up, and then exhale, hands coming down alongside the body, making our way onto our back. Having our strap handy, and do a happy baby, but we're doing one leg at a time. So keeping the left flat foot on the mat, we'll inhale, drawing right knee toward chest, and placing our strap around the ball of the right foot. And then drawing the knee on the outer edge of the body, so it will be toward the underarm. And then flat foot comes up towards the sky, knee is bent, and then beginning to draw the knee down toward the mat. Doesn't come anywhere near it, that's perfectly fine. You're also welcome to use the hand on the inside or outside of the foot. And we're feel to draw left hip down. So we want to keep left hip on the mat and then feel to draw the entire spine and tailbone down along the floor. Deep breath in and exhale it out. One more breath here, and then gentle release, and opposite side. Bending left knee, flat foot comes up towards the sky. Feeling to keep right hip down on the mat. Maybe the leg extends long, the right leg, or the flat foot to the mat. And as you exhale, feeling to draw the left knee toward the floor. Drawing the spine along the floor in the right hip. Relaxing shoulders. Exhale and gently release. Bringing flat feet to the mat, mat width apart. So the respective foot is along the edge of the mat, and then allowing the knees to tend in toward one another. Getting some internal hip rotation. Relaxing the lower back down into the mat. Arms come out into a T. Palms facing down. Keeping the legs as they are, shifting the hips so the knees come up, but they're that same width apart. And as you exhale, releasing both knees over toward the right. Deep breath in and exhale it out. Gaze can be straight up, it can be to the left, or it can be to the right. It just depends on how the neck is feeling. And if you want to carry the twist up into the cervical spine. Inhale, drawing knees back up towards center, realigning the spine, taking a moment here. On your next exhalation, releasing both legs over to the left. Deep breath in and exhale it out.
abdomen, inhaling back to center. And then extending the left leg long and then the right arms alongside the body and preparing for your final Shavasana. So whatever that may look like. Maybe you like to have a blanket underneath the knees or over the person. So whatever will allow you to feel comfortable and able to relax. Taking a deep breath in and exhale it out through the mouth. Welcome to side. Just allowing that shift of energy to occur. Doing this once more. Allowing the knees, feet, and ankles to turn out. Fingers to curl. Releasing the bottom jaw, letting the tongue drop. Softening the forehead. Giving yourself permission to be here now, in this moment of integration. You'll hear the sound of my singing bowl, and it's not to alert you to any particular thing. It's allowing these vibrations to wash over the body. Doing this once more, just beginning to notice this breath. Taking a moment to notice this body, this mind. Giving yourself space to acknowledge and being grateful for making it to our mat today and doing the work. Remembering that yoga is a practice. The word practice. Something that we have to work at.
When you're ready, we'll bring awareness back into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Perhaps drawing the knees in towards the chest and rolling over onto one side. Whenever you're ready, making your way up into a comfortable seat. And that comfortable seat again can be lying down, that's perfectly fine. We'll bring the palms together into our Anjali Mudra, taking a moment here, pressing thumbs into sternum. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today and allowing me to be a part of your practice. It's truly an honor. And I'd like to end with a mantra. Om Shanti 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 Hi.